Virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, virtuous mission. Jack, aka Naked Snake, is assigned to drop in behind enemy lines by the group known as Fox, led by Major Tom, aka Major Zero, the old bloke from Metal Gear Solid 4. Snake is to parachute into the Russian jungle to retrieve the scientist known as Sokolov, a rocket scientist who has been forced to design nuclear weapons. Snake drops in and collects Sokolov, but is ambushed by Major Ocelot, leader of the Ocelot unit. Snake gives him a snake cake and then says,
"You're pretty good,"
which becomes Ocelot's saying from here on in. Snake then meets back up with Sokolov and sees that the weapon he had been working on, the Shagohod, is essentially finished and cannot be stopped. Snake is then met with the boss, Snake's former mentor and somewhat mother figure. She tells him she is defecting to the Soviet Union and will be fighting for the enemies. This is very out of character for the boss, being that she is an American hero. She introduces us to her unit, the Cobras, whose members include the Pain, the Fear, the End, the Fury, and the Sorrow, and of course the boss herself, also known as the Joy. Her comrade Colonel Volgin also appears and requests that Snake be killed. The boss doesn't want that and decides to crack Snake one and throw him off the bridge. Colonel Volgin then nukes a Russian base and claims that the boss did it to solidify her defection to the Soviets. Snake repairs himself with paramedics' assistance via radio, and then uses the Fulton recovery system to fly himself up and be retrieved. He is then put into intensive care and explains the situation. Operation Snake Eater. Snake is now tasked with multiple missions. Retrieve Sokolov, destroy the Shagohod, kill the boss, and be home in time for dinner. This time, however, he has more allies. Over the radio, we have Sigint, a weapons expert.
"I am the expert on weapons, equipment, and cutting-edge technology."
Sigint has vast knowledge on weaponry and talks Snake through the ins and outs of weapons he procures. You may remember Sigint from Metal Gear Solid 1, where he was known as the DARPA chief. Snake also has two allies on site who are spies within the Soviets, tasked with giving Snake information and helping in any way they can. They are codenamed Adam and Eva. You could insert a religious reference right here about how Snake tempts Eva with his tasty fruit. Snake goes to the rendezvous point and is met by Eva, but Adam is nowhere to be found. Eva explains that Adam couldn't make it and he'll be dealing with her from here on in. Snake takes an interest in Eva because of her massive bazongos, but is dedicated to the mission so Naked Snake Solid Snake won't get to play until later on. Snake gets some rest and is once again ambushed by the Ocelot unit. Eva is held by Ocelot and he realises that she has tits. Ocelot likes tits. Eva doesn't like this, then cracks him one, then rides her motorbike over his face because Kojima made it so. Snake then kills the Pain, a hornet-wielding sting victim. He then enters a facility and meets up with Granin, who used to design weapons for the Soviets until Sokolov came along. Granin is drunk off his noggin and gives Snake a lot of information. How nice of him. Snake then meets up with the Fear, an invisible spider-like guy, and is shot through the thigh with a poisonous crossbow bolt. But like that ever could stop Snake. To show how badass Snake is, he even keeps the crossbow bolt in his leg for the rest of the mission. He then encounters the End, an ancient sniper whose last battle will be with Snake and only Snake. The End will never kill Snake, only tranquilize him. He wishes to die by Snake's hand. So Snake kills him, and his teeth pop out. Snake then climbs the longest ladder in history. Reaching the mountains, Snake then meets back up with Eva, who tries to get all frisky with him. Snake is curious, but ain't nobody got time for that, so he runs outside and looks in on the facility known as Groznygrad. Groznygrad is where the Shagohod is being fully assembled, so Snake must get down there, blow it up, ASAP. Volgin then punches a barrel which contains Granin. He dies. Eva then gets back into position within the Soviets. Snake uses an underground passage to get to Groznygrad, but encounters the Fury, an astronaut with a flamethrower and a jetpack. What a badass. He dies too. Snake gets into Groznygrad and procures Major Ivan Rydenovich Rykov's uniform and rips his face off to use it as his own. Just kidding, he already had a face in his pocket which he uses instead. Snake wears this to gain access to Sokolov's cell and attempts to retrieve him. Volgin decides to pay Sokolov a visit just as Snake arrives, and he feels up Snake's snake. Since it's not a solid snake, Volgin gives him a
Falcon Punch!
And hangs him in the torture room for the lulz. He also brings Sokolov with him and beats the piss out of him. He dies. Snake is then tortured by Volgin, and Eva is emotionally tortured by Ocelot with his fancy revolver juggling. Snake's had enough of Ocelot's shit and bashes into him, accidentally causing Ocelot to blow Snake's eye out. If that wasn't enough, Ocelot then rams a transmitter into Snake's shoulder so he can keep tabs on him, and the boss shoots Snake in the leg, but then she gives him the gun, so it's okay. Single action armies are cool. Snake is then held captive in a cell only guarded by one man named Johnny Sasaki, who conveniently has the shits and will leave his post frequently. Snake gets out of prison and escapes through the sewers whilst being pursued by Ocelot. Snake jumps from the waterfall and lands into the river below, entering a state of near death. It's here where Snake meets up with the Sorrow, who was once the boss's lover and was killed by the boss herself. Snake wakes up and goes to meet Eva. Snake eats a snake and offers some to Eva. She declines but says,
I wouldn't mind eating you.
which is cannibalism. Snake then makes his way back into Groznygrad and plants C3 on the fuel tanks for the Shagohod. Volgin catches him and they fight. Snake wins. Eva arrives on her bike to take Snake to safety. But oh no! Volgin has commandeered the Shagohod and chases the duo down. Ocelot also tries to take them on, but he's shit and fails. Eva and Snake lure Volgin over a bridge and blow it up, but he comes out of the debris because he's rock hard like that. And then the duo take on the Shagohod once again. Snake shoots Volgin. Volgin finally dies. Hooray! Snake and Eva drive away whilst being chased, but Eva is a master biker and she outdrives them all, injuring herself badly in the escape. But she's okay. Snake then meets up with the boss for a final showdown. Snake beats her and she gives Snake the Philosopher's Legacy, which is essentially
$100 billion.
and she tells Snake to kill her with her own gun. Snake reluctantly agrees and shoots her. Snake then escapes into a plane with Eva and attempts to take off. Ocelot then boards the plane and demands one final duel. 1 bullet, 2 revolvers. Snake obliges and plays Russian roulette with him. However, the bullet was a blank, so it didn't even matter who won. Ocelot then jumps out of the plane and goes for a cup of tea. Snake and Eva then take off and then they boof. Eva runs away when Snake is asleep and reveals that she was a spy for the Chinese and she was after the Philosopher's Legacy all along. However, the one she took was a fake and Snake had the real one that he got from the boss. It's also revealed that the CIA wanted the legacy all along and the boss was in on the whole thing. She never defected and she never properly tried to kill Snake. She wanted him to succeed. She sacrificed herself so that America could collect the legacy. Snake then goes back home and is congratulated by the president on completing his mission and is given the title of Big Boss. But Big Boss is pissed off that he was tricked into killing the boss and quits. He then wandered the globe until the events of Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, Eva was never actually Eva, Adam was actually Ocelot, and Ocelot was actually the boss's son, which would explain why he's so good at CQC in Metal Gear Solid 4. And don't give me that bullshit about how he's liquid.